So joined by Superintendent McIntyre now. Thank you for joining us. And so we're trying to, I think, talk to all the leaders locally and try to get what resources are out there. So I appreciate you joining the City of Brooklyn Park right now.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. Yeah, we really need partnerships more than ever, don't we?
Yes, I think it really comes true. And I think it goes out saying the Osseo School District and City of Brooklyn Park, we partner in so many ways, the sports dome and things like that. And so for us, it's, as they say, it's not a slogan, it's a habit. And
Yeah,
so we're
for
pretty
sure.
proud of that. So I've noticed a couple of my sons hanging around the house a little bit more than normally. So you guys kind of flipped the switch and got a bunch of students hopefully engaged in curriculum as they kind of have to stay home. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, well, first let me just say I hope everyone's doing their best to stay safe and healthy.
Yes.
That's what matters the most here. And I also wanted to say I know how hard this is on families right now. I have 3 daughters of my own, and we're working through how to keep them engaged and
Yep.
not being on top of each other all day long. So I
Yes.
get it as a parent too, right? But probably first and foremost, I really want to thank our staff who've worked really hard. The calendar wasn't always our friend on this. We had 2 weeks of closures based on the governor's orders, and then we launched into a week of distance learning, and then we had spring break, and we weren't able to move that window for break because of the timing of the governor's orders. So week on and then a week off, and now we're back into distance learning again. But it did give us a chance to really launch our distance learning plan, which, the 3 big orders the governor asked all school districts to do is plan for that curricular piece and the distance learning, but get childcare in place and provide meals to students. And when that order came down on the 15th of March, we had meals ready to go the next day. We had childcare ready to go the next day, and we kind of built it, as we went in some ways too. And now we're serving thousands of meals each day. I think we can still do better with reaching out and getting the word out. So I appreciate your help in doing so. Today we're averaging about 3,000, 3,500 meals per day across our district at 13 sites. And maybe later I can kind of highlight in Brooklyn Park where that's at. But just getting those things launched, right? Getting those things off the ground while everybody's adjusting. Everybody's adjusting to doing work differently, managing their lives differently, professionally and personally. And maybe you'd support this, but our work is so much about relationships and those connections to our students, and even for the adults with each other is what we're all adjusting to, and how to make those connections differently now.
Yes.
We had 2 weeks without seeing students. We had a pickup for materials 2 days before we launched the distance learning plan, and it gave families a chance to come by their school and pick up their child's materials and anything they left behind. And I saw some amazing signs students made for their teachers, and teachers signs, and being able to just for a moment connect with their kids in their class, because I can tell you our staff miss the kids. And now we've been able to do this for a week and connect with them in different ways, but it's been a relational test. There's a lot of anxiety and stress that come with it. So this is the new normal, I guess, right?
Yeah, well, I think one of the things parents will ask is tips and tricks, because now suddenly, they're at home working, they're trying to keep their kids engaged, getting the home done. And so I think there are people who haven't been plugged in are really plugged in now, trying to
There's a couple of basic things that they can do, and then I'll maybe some resources, but maybe 3 easy things to do, or 3 or 4 things, is try to set some routines. We're all used to routines and we're all setting new ones, but our students really need that routine. Maybe have a designated workspace in their home so that there's a space set aside and it's got that purpose for schoolwork. Monitor their work as best you can, and that really, I'll probably say it a handful of times, but stay connected to your child's teacher. They're the best contact, the best resource above everything else, and really communicate regularly with them. But if you just do those basic things, you probably have a good chance of hopefully being successful. And I know that's hard for some, because work schedules for our emergency care workers, their hours aren't always matching our school hours, right? So we are trying to problem solve that through our teachers in our schools on how to be available, whether it's recording lessons so they can be accessed later if there's internet capability. Just trying to problem solve those things. And we're going to survey our parents, our teachers, and our students as we move into next week, just to hear what's working, what's not working, what can we do
Right.
better? How do we, now that we've done this for a handful of days, what have we learned, and how can we improve, right? So
Yeah. I was going to say in the monitoring part, my first day, we busted my oldest son watching all the videos at 2.5 speed. Because we were trying to figure out, how did you watch all those videos so fast? And that's when we realized I found out we were not alone. And
yeah,
parents
yeah.
whose kids were doing the speed reading, so to speak, their
Well, there
videos.
are a lot of resources too. You asked about that, and our district279.org is our district homepage, and
Hmm.
the first page you'll see the link to our distance learning plan, and there's a whole section there for additional resources for parents.
Nice.
So additional learning activities to augment things that the teachers are providing. So it's kind of the warehouse for all of our information repository, if you think of it
That's
that
good.
way. For if you have questions, it's the first best place to start, except for your child's teacher. They're
Yep.
probably they know your child the best, so they're likely the best resource to start. But there's a whole lot of additional information out there
Well,
on the
I
website.
think that kind of information is useful, because I think that, the city, we've really tried to focus everything on one page, so to speak, so that no matter where you go, everything, and then things change. I mean, the
Yeah.
governor could issue new orders next week, things could happen, and suddenly the best laid plans of mice and men go right out the window with the wave of a wand, so to speak. So,
Yeah, and that's been happening with us too. As we get more guidance from the State Department on various topics, we update our website with new information all the time. So it is the best place to go get the most up-to-date information,
mhm.
short of talking with staff at the parents' child's school.
And I think one of the things we did a survey just to kind of see like needs, and we're in the midst of a business one, but the food security was heads and tails. Even people who have the wherewithal financially to not worry about food, they were worried because they go to the grocery store and
Yeah,
they'd see empty shelves and they were panicking. And so I know that we constantly hear the food lunches are available, and we keep telling people, here's a place to go get food. And I think you guys have even more room to grow if people were to take advantage of that.
we do, and we have a flyer that we've not only shared electronically on our website, but we've tried to take copies of that flyer to our local grocery stores, gas stations, any of the
Mhm.
businesses that are still kind of open in our community, to try to keep getting that word out. We do offer lunches at Birch Grove, Crestview, Edenbrook, Parkbrook, Palmer Lake, Woodland, and Zanewood, and then at Park Senior High, so
Mhm.
Park Center Senior High. So there's a number of locations right there in Brooklyn Park where families can get their meals every day. So right now we're serving those every day between 10:30 and 1:30. Last week for spring break, we did give all the meals for the week on Monday, and I think we gave out nearly 14,000 meals that day. So,
Nice. Yep.
but right now it's set up for daily pickup, and near the end of last week, we had around 3,500 that week leading up to spring break. So we're still trying to get the word out, right? So
Yes.
the more we can do that, for as long as we're doing this distance learning plan, we'll keep trying to get the word out in new ways.
Well, I want to thank you, because the food security was number one on our survey for concerns. Housing security, even people who own homes, it didn't matter, renting or owning. And so just that service helps people, especially if you have kids and you're not expecting suddenly you have to have more food at home. And
And
so to have that option.
we have about 300 families that have asked us to deliver meals because they can't go to pick
Mhm.
up. So we are also doing that delivery, and there's a option for that, to sign up for that option if if families need that. So I want to
Right.
mention that too, because we're doing about 300 families with meal delivery as well.
Yeah. Well, and I would say that addressing those needs have been first and foremost. And I know one of the other challenges has been Wi-Fi access. And I know, from our city perspective, we've been kind of exploring what can our city police do? What can we have lots of city buildings throughout the city. Is there ways that people can drive up and connect to Wi-Fi even though they're in their car? And so we're looking at different ways to offer that, because we know we just put resources on the web. Well, people can't get to the web. It doesn't do much good. And so I
Right.
know you guys have been kind of innovating and trying different things and thinking outside the box.
Yeah, we're trying to do everything we can, like you are. Actually, I think we're talking to each other. Our city and the school
Yep.
districts are trying to share ideas. More heads are better, right? So we've also been listening to feedback from the things we're hearing. We want every family to have access if we can get it there. So we have continued to figure out how can we either provide expanded internet access or help families who are in need to at least have it for a period of time. And our goal is maybe as early as next week or within the next 2 weeks, have every family, household, I should say, have internet access that are attending our schools. That's our goal.
Mm-hmm.
And we think we can get there in the next week to 2 weeks. We think we have a pretty good idea of where those families are and when, how we can help them with a hotspot or other devices. So we're working with our local vendors and trying to really pinpoint where those supports are needed. But we've looked at all kinds of ideas to, can we put hotspots in parking lots and buses to try to get a range, but trying to work with our apartment owners and other partners that can help us get that access. But in the meantime, we're also delivering materials. So every 2 weeks, we're delivering instructional materials out who need print. And we're using our buses and our bus drivers to deliver to homes all the instructional materials until we can ensure everybody's able to be online. Yeah.
Well, I think one of the things that we were told about was the cell phone companies. If you call them, a lot of them are offering unlimited data. So people may have a cell phone, but they don't know that they now have the ability to turn on a hotspot on their cell phone. So we've been trying to get the word out. Hey, call your provider. You may find that during this crisis, a lot of Verizon, T-Mobile have announced support.
Yeah, we did the same on our resources flyer. I think we list 4 different vendors that are offering free or low-cost internet service, in addition to our own district efforts getting those out. So
absolutely,
yeah.
Well, I think earlier you mentioned childcare, and I'm assuming that I can't bring my 16-year-old, although I'd really love to at this point. And so it's for essential workers, and that's a service that the governor asks the school districts to take care of. So maybe I think, but at this point, because as people, one of our fears has been, as people get quarantined, even if they're not sick, they have to quarantine for. That can upset the daycare mechanism where, hey, used to be my mother would watch our kids or my father, and suddenly they need childcare. So I think you guys have been doing something like that.
Yeah, they're right off the bat, we had to provide childcare for those emergency frontline care workers or any industry that's kind of tied to the medical field, where they're deemed as essential. So we have clear expectations from the state on who those workers are, and we're working with those families. And we've had about right around 100, I'd say, children in our daycare program that have families or parents that are working in those areas that need the daycare from us. And I think what we're learning is they might need it from us, or they're using other means within their family units to cover those things, or sometimes maybe older siblings. So there's a lot of different scenarios that are kind of playing out. So I would encourage anyone who's in that emergency care field to continue to explore whether they want to take advantage of what we're providing from a child care standpoint.
Absolutely. And thank you for doing that, because my wife and I have the luxury, we're working from home, and so we don't have to worry about that. Our kids are older, but some younger parents, younger families, things change, and so or maybe a single parent family becomes a little more difficult.
Yeah, and for the children that are there, we are also providing that distance learning curriculum and materials while they're there too, so that they're able to continue their learning while they're needing that support.
Absolutely. And the last thing I want to ask is just, I get lots of requests. City council, we're meeting virtually, and we're doing our best to provide information, be transparent. And I know the school board still meeting. And so is there a way for people, if they just want to follow along and hear about the updates, is it recorded, or how can people who are like, hey, I'm home, I'm suddenly interested in my school board and my city government, where can I go?
Yeah, I suppose people are running out of things to watch on TV, right?
Yes, I think so. Netflix only gets you so far.
Right, that's right. Well, your timing's good. So tonight we have a work session, and we are doing that through a remote method, Google Meets model, and that will be live streamed tonight. And actually tonight we are going through our distance learning plan and our response to COVID-19. So there's about 17 different pieces to this and how we're providing supports across our system. And it's just to highlight the work we've done and also the work we still got left to do. We're learning more every day, and how do we make adjustments and adapt to what the needs are in our system. So we're doing that tonight. It's more challenging, as you know.
Yes.
It's better than not being able to meet, and it's better than maybe just a telephone call because you can't see each other. So we're all learning how to just get business done. a lot of our work was kind of put on hold for a while as we
Yep.
got some systems built. And now I think like maybe the city, we're getting back into what the business that has to continue to get accomplished while we're doing this school in a new way. We had to move from a brick and mortar model to a virtual model in a matter of days, and
Yep.
in a lot of industries, they take months to do that. And we had to build it fast. So
Necessity drives innovation and activity, I would say.
it is true.
Absolutely.
Very true.
Well, Superintendent, I want to thank you. So we've got your links to your website and your information. We're going to put that at the end of our video. We're going to share this out with the city. Our goal is your goal, which is to get as much information that's critical, factual, and timely to the residents and parents in our community. And so the role that schools play is so vitally important. So I just want to thank you for taking the time to kind of share some of this so people can see some of the information.
Well, and I want to echo that. Thank you, Mayor Lunde, and your team and your council for partnering with the school district, because together we can provide as much support as we can to our communities and our children. So it takes all of us. So we thank you very much as well.
Okay, thank you.